Hello Capsu crews, welcome back to Capsu Gaming. I'm your host Capsu, and today we'll be continuing our series called Wapping with Capsu. Join me as we wap together and listen to me have a conversation with you, the Capsu crews. If you have something you want us to cover, please let us know down below. Let's jump right into it. First, check your character preset and familiar, and then our buffs, EXP, MVP, Monster Park Potion, Legion Green and Gold coupons, and finally, our WAP. Then, pick your favorite map to WAP. Today's conversation is about peer pressure. This is a tough topic for myself, as I'm sure everyone who is listening has felt peer pressure at some point in their life. It's something that I sometimes question, like, where does it come from? Like, at what point in our life did we begin caring about what other people think of us? It feels like something we always experience, yet I can't put my finger on it. Like, why do I feel peer pressure? I would be lying to you to say I never felt peer pressure growing up. But to this day, I'm not too sure if it's still affecting me as much or if I've learned to live with it. You know, what is peer pressure? You know, as I'm thinking about it right now as I speak, I guess it's the desire to feel accepted, to feel like you belong somewhere. And I guess ultimately, like, that's not a wrong thing to feel, right? But then we hear the word like peer pressure, like a feeling of stress or tension. I am thinking back right now, is there a moment I can think of when I felt peer pressure? I guess, you know, a while back when I got my first ET ring, I do remember being so excited that I shared it with, my guildies, right? And it was awesome, you know. It was awesome that they were so happy for me that they would wish to participate and watch me Star Force it. And I was happy to oblige and show, you know, my journey with them. But obviously, you know, it's a pretty rare drop, you know, in an ET ring. And so, you know, like, deep down in my stomach, I know that I shouldn't try to be greedy, you know. But during the event, I felt a lot of pressure. And this is not like directly saying that someone or, you know, or any guildies were putting that kind of pressure on my shoulder, right? They were giving their perspective that, you know, it'll be ideal to have the ring at 22 star. And, you know, at that point, I think I got it around like 18 star. And obviously, hearing the public opinion, yeah, a lot of people saying that I should try. And so I did. I kept trying. And as I went up, I started to feel a conflict within myself. Like, what if it booms? What if it blows up? But then I also felt like I've basically got everyone to come here and witness me Star Force this item. I don't want to let them down, right? I don't want to like just stop early and make them disappointed. But guys, like, let's think about it deeply, you know. Like, think about it again, that, you know, like, this ring is really being Star Force for myself, right? It's for my own progression, yet because I want to feel like I fit in, that I feel like I want to make them proud, yeah, that I'm actually being more riskier and more dangerous beyond what I should do. Like, it was already getting to the point where I was feeling uncomfortable trying to star force it higher. But I don't know, like that pressure really made me keep going. And to our surprise, the ring actually got to 21 star. Like, holy cow, it just went to 21 star. And it was at this moment where everyone was saying, go one more, go one more. And you know, like, I really wanted to like keep going, right? But then in my guts, it was telling me like, it's enough. Like, that's enough. You have gotten more luckier than you can assume. That you went from being happy at 18 and now you're at 21. If you're greedy, you're not only gonna blow up your item, but you're gonna lose all the stars, gains, and meso that you invested in. So it was a bit of a struggle for me to kind of like pull myself back and kind of, you know, put my foot down and say like, okay guys, like that's enough. Even though everyone was really supportive, and that's like a lot of support, a lot of love, I feel like I should do what I feel comfortable doing. And I guess that's what peer pressure is, guys, is that, you know, when we do things that aligns with our belief and value, we don't really feel peer pressure as like a negative thing. But then when peer pressure drives us to do things outside of our comfort zone, something that we feel in our guts that is not right, and something that we may ultimately look back on and feel regretful about. Like, for example, when you're back in, you know, when you're in like primary school, you know, when you're young and you may or may not have potentially participated in bullying, or at least you've witnessed bullying but you let it happen because we feel the pressure of not wanting to be an outcast, or, you know, we didn't want to be the new target. And because of that, we kind of push aside our morality, our ethics, that we know that this is wrong and what's wrong and what's right, but we, you know, tend to look away because of the public opinion. And that's why you notice that, you know, bullies are always in a large group, right? Because they utilize the, you know, mob mentality, a group of people to sway other people's opinion. Because, you know, like, if one person has an issue with you, it's more easy for you to just ignore them. But then a group of people suddenly have an issue with you, you feel more inclined to do something about it. And I guess that's what happened, right? If maybe one person was kind of egging me on to do 22 star, I guess it was a lot easier to decline it. But when you have a whole group of people cheering for you to go 22 star, you know, it's a lot of pressure to decline multiple people, and I guess that's like expectation, letting down other people's expectations as well. So yeah, I definitely can think of that, thinking back on peer pressure. And I guess that's something that we all must pay attention and be aware of, because it can be very easy to, you know, get carried away with, you know, getting caught up in the moment. Yeah, because I was definitely caught up in the moment. I was definitely not even using my brain at that point. I was just, it was almost like I was in a trance, right? I'm just not in control anymore. I'm just clicking the star forcing enhancement button, and it's other people that's telling me, and I'm just doing it, right? And I'm just doing it. I need to like kind of snap myself back, like, hey, you know, why am I doing this ultimately? Like, why am I trying to Star Force this? Is because I want to get stronger to achieve our goals, right? And you know, we have to know what our goals are. And you know, any gains is a gains, guys. Like, if you guys get stats, every stats count. And if I was so greedy for that one extra star, that could jeopardize, you know, our progression. And unfortunately, at that time, as I was Star Forcing it, the Capsu crews were also present. And because of them being there as well, they were willing more to incline to Star Force their gear with me. You know, group mentality, right? And unfortunately, I have to kind of like, you know, tell their stories that, you know, Bucky at the time had already achieved 20 star CRA, which was perfectly good. She just got it on that day. It was literally the Sunday with the 5, 10, 15 event. She got 20 stars. It was great. But because she saw me got to 21, she felt like she wanted to fit in. And then she attempted to do 21 star, and it ultimately boomed on like a couple of tries, which then she had to then spend another 5 to 6 bill to get back where she was before, even though it was enough. Like, she just got to 20 and it was perfectly acceptable. And here's the crazy thing, I really wish that I should have told her not to do it. And the exact same thing happened to Ray. Ray actually got a 21 star pink bean belt, and that was fantastic. Unfortunately, she hasn't yet gotten her superior Golex belt, and it's already been like 3 months of her looking for one. But a 21 star belt from her 18 star is a huge gain for her. And again, unfortunately, you know, with the whole, you know, kind of like group mentality, everyone, it's telling us like we should kind of like, you know, we can do better, right? Unfortunately, she attempted 21 to 22 and the belt boomed, and then she ended up being back at 17 star. And I, you know, ultimately I feel responsible for it. I really do feel responsible because I felt like I wasn't there for them. Like, I wish I could have, you know, snapped out of my trance and kind of like, because I was so focused on like Star Forcing my gear that I had no idea. I did not notice that Bucky on the side, you know, also, you know, feeling a lot of group peer pressure, also started to, you know, Star Forcing, and then Ray also started doing it as well. So I guess the moral of the story, guys, is that, you know, it's very easy to get caught up. Like, there is some good and bad side to everything. It's good to have, you know, your guildies and your friends to cheer on you, but you guys also have to be careful that if you guys know that it's enough and you're satisfied and if you're happy, that's what really matters. If you're happy and it's good, don't let a lot of people's opinion telling you that it's not good enough change your mind. And that, I guess that's what peer pressure is, yeah? Don't let that control you. Don't let peer pressure dictate you and take control away from you, because that's what I felt. I felt like I wasn't even in control. Like, my hands was just clicking and I was just lost into it. And by the time that I was able to pull myself back, and I'm very happy that I did, because man, if I blew that ET star, like ET ring up, I don't even know, you know, how I can recover from that, because that's because 21 I was already satisfied. And so I guess another topic that we can also talk about is like mob mentality, right? Which is like a group of people wanting you to do something because I guess that is also related to peer pressure, right? And that fits exactly with my example that I kind of gave just then, which is based on a true story, guys. It really did happen like that. And mob mentality again as well is the public opinion is very strong. It's very powerful. Whether it could be at work, sometimes there is actually work politics. Surprisingly, when I was still new to working, I haven't really climbed up the corporate ladders to actually witness companies' politics and the influence and sway of certain groups of people. It's pretty crazy, especially how some corporation uses that to kind of like coerce you to do more work. So I guess an example of that is, say for example, you finish work, it's like 5 o'clock, 5:30, and you're packing up, but you look around you and all your co-worker, it's still sitting there working. You're like, huh, why aren't you guys packing up and going home to your loved ones? And they're saying that, oh, like we're trying to be a team player. We are trying to, get ahead of the project. We are, working together. We're trying to, do more work. And then you start to feel like, oh, like you guys are doing this frequently, and that this is a normal for you guys. This is normal, and that this is how you guys feel like you guys are being a team player. And work is, management ain't complaining, and they're not getting paid overtime either. Like they weren't. I was shocked, like when I was, going home and they were still working, and that made me felt like I should stay back. Like it actually made me felt like, oh, like let me sit back down and unpack my things and continue. And it worked, like it worked against me, and I definitely found myself almost being like abused at work voluntarily. Like it wasn't like forced. They weren't saying like if you leave you're getting punished, but it's that group mentality, that mob mentality where everyone is doing it. And again, peer pressure. You feel like you're not part of the team and you're letting them down, and that the project is struggling, and it's because you didn't put in your weight into it, and that it's you that's failing the team. But when in reality is, it's just a budgeting problem where, hire another staff or, get extension for the work. It's really a management thing, but, it's set up in a way that it makes you feel coerced to do it that way. And you can say the same thing as like, when you're playing Maplestory and you're comparing yourself to other people, and like we can only play the best that we can play, right? Like if we only have 30 minutes, we play 30 minutes. We have an hour, and sometimes we always feels like people are always boasting about like how many hours they've been wapping today. And yes, like it could be a motivator, right? You'd be like, oh wow, these guys are putting the work, they're grinding. I want to also wap for that long. But then again, you see, you're being pressured to do something that you weren't gonna do to begin with. And say you're already feeling burnt out, you're feeling tired, you're feeling fatigued from the game, and because you want to fit in, you don't want to feel like all my teammates are like putting 18 hours a day to play Maplestory. I need to also put in that work, like, and then you start to neglect your work, your health, your friends, your family, your responsibility, right? Very dangerous. Mob mentality. Like, you guys don't think about it, but it's a real thing. And it's the same thing as when you start seeing, maybe your group of friends, even like Maplestory, having a certain NX, and you're like, man, I really want that NX. They're all wearing it. I want to fit in, but you don't have the money to actually get you know, the premium surprise box, but yet because you want to fit in, yeah, you're gonna dip into it. Maybe, you know, like initially you got what you wanted and you're already happy, but it's always that one specific item that everyone is like so like hyped up about, yeah. And I remember it was like that that backward gun sword where you can hold it backward. I remember like that was really cool. But I'll be honest with you, like it's cool, but it's really just a sword, you know, like how often are you gonna wear it? Well, it's cool, right? Ultimately, if you're gonna, you know, spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and thankfully I didn't spend that much, but I did spend a bit, but thankfully I knew when to stop, right? But again, it's almost like a sunken ship fallacy, where it's like I've put in so much work. At this point, I can't stop now. It's almost like that meme, you know, that meme about Minecraft where you're digging underground and you see the picture of the guy that's like, you know, stop early, and there was like diamond behind, and the guy that kept going and actually get it. And that's a very dangerous mindset. That's like a very toxic mindset to feel like, oh, I'm so close, just a little bit more, because we know that probability doesn't work like that, you know. And you know, we kind of talk about like fail stacking, you know, oh, you know, if we keep failing, it's gonna eventually work. Very dangerous mindset. And I guess that's what Maplestory also teaches us, yeah, is to teach us to have that sort of resilience and discipline. We need to really discipline ourselves not to feel the urge to spend or do things based off of other people. Because, you know, like when I was like star forcing, you know, Baki and Ray was good already. Like they were satisfied, but then because they saw me, it's like a disciplinary thing where they feel like the urge to spend. Or say, for example, I don't know if you got into a position where, you know, you guys are like saving a lot of meso in preparation for like star forcing or shining star force. But, you know, like after a while of saving for so long, you know, you have so many billions of meso in your inventory, it gets kind of stale, where it's like, oh man, like what's the point of me saving this? I kind of want to see the result. And see, Maplestory is really good at teaching about this disciplinary being in control of yourself, because the game actually rewards those who knows how to plan and time certain things in the game, like for example, star forcing on or off event, or aiming for certain potential line with maybe a cube sales, or waiting for when double miracle time comes around for you to get, you know, higher chance of, you know, legendary item. Well, yes, you know, like we always should weigh our option. If we can get stronger now, gains now is better gains in the future, right? It means that if you can be strong now, it means you can clear out a lot of boss and you gain a lot of benefit now, and by the time the event comes, you should be able to earn back, if not more meso than before. But then if you're at a stage where, you know, you can spend 10 bill and gets no result, right? It's better for you to increase your odds during an event, and that requires time, planning, and discipline to not spend it. So it's very easy to, you know, see people getting like triple attack line or triple magic attack line for the emblem or secondary, and you know, you feel like, oh, you know, like I have a lot of meso, it wouldn't hurt to buy a couple of, you know, bright cubes and give it a try, maybe I'll get it. And you know, with all probability, yeah, there is a chance that you could get it, like everything, but the odds would be a bit higher in your favor when you wait for, like, say, a cube sale that's coming up probably sometime in November. And if you do want to, you know, treat yourself with, you know, some bright cubes, you got to be very careful of then, you know, losing control and then constantly buying hundreds and hundreds of bright cubes, and you might end up realizing that, oh man, I just lost all the meso, or at least so much meso. But then it's like a sunken ship fallacy, yeah? You feel like, oh man, I put in like 10 bills. I have to be close. I have to be close around the corner, yeah? It should come up any minute now. And you keep spending more, and you're like, oh no, now I spent 15 bill. Surely it should not be all for waste, right? There should be something I get out of it. I should get something out of it. So maybe I spend another 2 bill, another 5 bill. Next thing you know, it's all gone, guys. It's all gone. So there are a lot of things in Maplestory that you may find yourself losing control and doing things in the moment, whether that's peer pressure and mob mentality. It's a game full of life lesson, and it's something that even though I talk about it, I'm still learning. I'm still practicing and training self-discipline, mindfulness, and staying within our control, because it's easy to blame it's the guildies or it's this other person that's mega an item and it made me wanted to spend. It's very easy to blame others, but when reality is that we actually have a lot more control than we think. We have a lot of free will, but if we let the moment take control, right? And that's the thing, yeah? Everything that we want to do, we should always kind of let it marinate. An idea, a plan, a thought. I know that, there's a contradiction of like the early birds gets the worm, but we also have to realize that if we jump the gun, jump before we look, we might end up getting into a position that is unfavorable to us. So ultimately, it's better for us to actually take it step by step and not burn ourselves out. Take it step by step, and I guess always realigning back, like, are we content with where we are? Because often I feel like we give up on something because we don't feel content. So say for example, it feels like you're stuck in Maplestory for so long, you felt like you haven't progressed, you haven't gotten any stronger, and you're doing your bosses every week, you are end game now, and there's nothing left for you to do, right? I guess like content is very important. But when you start losing content, that's when you lose passion. You feel like there's nothing left to do and you want to give up. But maybe we should just look at it like, again, it's disciplinary, that we are saving and planning for when things does change. We can take advantage of that. So don't give up, guys. Don't feel like I've been doing this for so long and I have not gotten any results, right? Results will come. We had a bit of a dry spell for a long time, with me and the Capsu crews in terms of like weekly boss drops. And you might also feel the same way, where you go and do your boss and you just get nothing at all. But as long as we're consistent, it will eventually come, like all things. I believe that hard work and a bit of luck, that we will achieve it. Again, it's just probability. Like, Ray, she's still doing Golux every day. She's still looking for that superior Golux spell. But I know if she does her best and keep trying, she will soon get it. And just like me and Baki, who didn't have our arcane weapon, if we keep trying, we too will eventually get it. And that's what I think is something that our mentality, our desire and our will to do is so important. So guys, never lose your way, especially don't lose your way, don't lose your goals, don't lose your sight, and do not let peer pressure sway and make you lose control. Don't let peer pressure, don't let mob mentality don't even like it can be very like detrimental. Like I remember earlier this year when New Age came out, and you know, everyone was so uncertain about Maplestory. There was a huge morale loss. Everyone was very concerned. But you know, don't let other people ruin your fun, yeah? If it's fun for you, it's fun for you. That's all I have to talk about today, guys. I hope that this talk was informative and that you guys could learn and relate with me and go on this journey together with us. You know, looking and discovering ourselves and understanding a bit more on why we feel certain things and why we do certain things and what motivate our actions. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions or ideas, please let us know down in the comments. If you'd like to support our channel, please hit the like, subscribe button and bell notification. That would help us so much and motivate us to make new and fun content for you, the Capsu crews. Check out our other videos while you're at it. Happy mapling, and we'll see you in the next video. This is Capsu, signing out.